What's going on, guys? Welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and anything else we find interesting. And it's time yet again to check out some more Reddit posts, so feel free to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments, and we're getting right into it. Telling my sister her baby isn't my responsibility. I, 27 female, have a younger sister, 22, who had a baby last year. The dad left before she was even 6 months pregnant. He blocked her, denied it was his, the whole thing. When she gave birth, I was there. I held her hand. I slept in that uncomfortable hospital chair. I cried when the nephew was born. I love that little boy, like actually love him. And maybe that's the problem. At first I stepped up because she was drowning. Postpartum hit her hard. She'd call me at 2 a.m. crying because the baby wouldn't stop screaming and she thought she was a horrible mom. I'd drive over half asleep just to hold him so she could shower or sleep for an hour. I brought groceries because she forgot to eat. I stayed overnight sometimes because she said she hasn't slept in 2 days. But somewhere along the way it stopped being, "Can you help?" and started being, "I'm dropping him off." There was one night that still makes my chest tight thinking about it. I had just gotten home after a 10-hour shift. I was exhausted, hadn't eaten. My phone buzzed. On my way, he's fussy. I hadn't agreed to anything. She showed up, handed me the diaper bag, kissed him, and left before I could even process it. I stood there holding a screaming baby in my work clothes while she drove off to God knows where. I ate cold takeout at midnight, bouncing him on my shoulder, and I remembered thinking, I didn't choose this. I've canceled plans, missed birthdays, used PTO because daycare fell through. My manager even pulled me aside once and asked if things were stable at home. Financially, I've bought diapers, formula, paid a doctor copay once because she was short. She always says she'll pay me back. She doesn't. And every time I hesitate, my mom goes, "She's young, you're her big sister, family shows up." Last week, she asked if I could keep him from Friday to Sunday because she, quote, "needs a mental health weekend." I said no. There was this long silence and then she goes, "Wow, so I guess I know who I can't rely on." That broke something in me. I said, probably harsher than I meant to, "I love him, but I am not his second parent. You chose to have him, I didn't." She started crying, said I don't understand how hard it is being a single mom, said I'm abandoning her. Now my mom is barely talking to me. She told me one day I'll need help too and I'll remember this. And here's the part that makes me feel like a terrible person. When I imagine stepping back completely, I feel relief. But then I think about my nephew and I feel sick because he didn't ask for any of this. He's just a baby. I don't want to punish him. I just don't want my entire life slowly becoming something I never agreed to. At the same time, I feel bad for my sister who was going through such tough times. My family wants to reconcile after I was framed for theft. I am 23 and male. I am the middle child of my parents, 54 male and 53 female, and I have an older sister, 25, and a younger brother, 19. I've been living away from my family for 5 years with a very bare minimum of contact, because right around when I turned 15, my dad's stuff started disappearing from his room. He has a pocket knife collection filled with different knives that he has collected from across the US, and some of them are pretty decently valuable. Not worth like several grand or anything, but some of these probably fetch for a few hundred. He also has a collection of baseball cards and autographed baseballs. These items would vanish from his room and end up in my room, and each time I got punished for it, and each time was more severe than the last. I was looked at by my entire immediate family as a thief for 3 years, even though I constantly pleaded my innocence to them. I missed out on a few vacations, didn't have a 17th birthday celebration at all, didn't get my driver's license or a car until after I moved out, and I didn't have a job and had no way to save money aside from past birthdays and odd chores around my neighborhood. I remember my dad and mom telling me how much of a disappointment I was, and that they wouldn't be surprised if I ended up in the local news as a robbery suspect or worse. My extended family wasn't much help either and saw me in the same light. It got so bad to the point where I genuinely wondered if I was actually stealing and not remembering it at all, either through some kind of mental struggle or doing it in my sleep or anything. Earlier this week, I got a call from my mom. My dad had noticed that his things started disappearing again without me being there, and finally had the bright idea to set up cameras in the hall, where my brother was caught taking stuff and putting them in my sister's old room. Mom told me about that and then said that she and my dad both apologized to me for not believing me, and that they would love to have me over for her birthday dinner to catch up. I asked her what her plan for my brother's punishment was, and she got confused. I asked her again, reminded her that I was forced to miss out on a birthday, multiple vacations, and my driver's license at 16. She said my dad took his phone for a week and his video games for a month. I lost it on her and berated them for treating me way worse while I was being framed for being a thief, while the actual thief only had his phone confiscated. I then said I will not be attending any events with them for the future, and I said, "You guys can go f yourselves." I hung up and blocked her number. I then got a call later from my sister who told me that, while my rage is very much justified, my mother is inconsolable and has locked herself in our parents' bedroom. And now moving on to the update. My sister, who I will call T for simplicity, called me about an hour ago as of the time I'm writing this, and apologized for what she told me. Me and her have been very close ever since I moved out, and she has been known to step up and apologize when she is in the wrong. No hard feelings towards her at all. As far as my parents go, my mother had an overnight epiphany, according to T. She ended up kicking my brother, who I will call J, out of the house after they were able to make him admit to doing this for years. Mom told T that he was sent to my granddad's house, where he will be forced to get a job and pay rent, as well as his own tuition now. My dad initially fought with her on this until she made him realize just how badly he was tearing this family apart. My dad then called me, apologizing profusely, telling me I don't ever have to see them again and that they would totally understand it, but they would love the chance to make amends and fix what they damaged. He offered to gift me the amount of money I owed for loans, plus an extra $5,000 for keeps. I told him I will think it over, but it might take me a while. I did accept his apology, but I haven't forgiven either of them yet, and I hung up. My mom doesn't know that me and T have kept in contact, as I live about 2 hours away from my parents and 3+ hours from her. And T relayed to me that my mom and dad were thinking about selling some stuff they own and taking extra shifts at each of their jobs, so they can get me a brand new vehicle as a surprise. I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'd rather not take a car or any extra money off of them, as A, everything I own so far I earned through my hard work, and B, I feel like just buying your child's affection back is a lazy way to reconcile. As far as the situation goes, I did unblock my mom, but I will not be initiating conversation unless she or my dad texts first. Also, they did make an apology on Facebook to me and scolded my brother for what happened, so at least my extended family knows now. Their apologies feel more or less like they're sorry because they feel guilty, more so than they're sorry because they wronged me and want to make it better. My brother is dead to me though, nothing he could do could fix this. And on to the next update. I got a call from T. My brother Jay got arrested for stealing my grandpa's truck keys and hitting a streetlight about 2 miles out from their house late last night. We'll update when I get more details, as I'm gonna call my dad about it. Stay tuned. So my brother has not taken to his new living arrangements well at all. He hasn't gone out to look for work, and yesterday he was caught trying to break into Grandpa's safe right before he stole the truck. He was going too fast and unintentionally hit the streetlight. He didn't have any injuries, but the truck is possibly totaled, and my grandparents kicked him out too. He now has no home, and my parents have canceled his college fund and are using it to pay for my grandparents to get a new vehicle. Dad told me that he was going to try to surprise me with the new vehicle, but that idea was out the window. To which I said I appreciate his offer, but I would have declined it anyway because I have my reliable '01 Cherokee. My parents have practically disowned him, and it's all so crazy to me as he was never truly rebellious up until this week. I think he may be dealing with some serious mental crisis, and it wouldn't surprise me if his mugshot shows up on my local news. I'm not too well versed on psychology, mechanical engineering degree, so I ask, is there anyone out there with an idea as to why he may be going through this? And now moving on to the final update. First and foremost, my mom actually straight up apologized to me for everything, and for the way I was treated for most of my teenage to adult life. This was during a therapy session, and it happened before any of us said anything to start it. My dad apologized to me as well as to my siblings for everything. My brother is now getting some actual help now, as my parents have admitted to prioritizing me and my sister before this entire ordeal started when I was 15 and the framing began. He apologized to me for everything and was let back into my parents' house, but has to earn his trust back. I don't really care what he has to do. My contact with him is still going to be very limited. Also in other news, I have a date. We met on Tinder around a little over a week ago and we clicked really well. I'm hoping it goes well. My mom called my workplace to check in on me and is now upset that HR asked her not to do it again. Some background. I'm 26, have been living on my own for 4 years, and work at a mid-sized company in an open office environment. My mom is lovely in a lot of ways, but has always had a hard time with the concept that I am an adult who exists independently of her. It started small. She would text me at 9 a.m. on workdays asking if I had gotten in okay. I work 5 minutes from my apartment. I've been commuting without incident for years. I started replying with the thumbs up emoji to keep it short, and she said it felt cold. We had a whole conversation about the thumbs up emoji. My roommate thought it was hilarious. I did not. Then a few months ago, she decided that because I sometimes don't answer texts quickly during the day, because I am, and I cannot stress this enough, at work, she needed a more reliable way to reach me. So she called my office's main line, asked to be connected to me. When the receptionist asked who was calling, she said she was my mom, and that she just wanted to make sure her daughter was doing okay. I was in a meeting. The receptionist took a message. My coworker who sits next to me saw the message slip and has not let it go since. She kept calling me the girl whose mom checks in, which is great. HR didn't make a big deal of it. One person just quietly mentioned to me that personal calls to the main line are generally discouraged and asked if everything was all right at home. I wanted to disappear into my ergonomic office chair and never come back. When I told my mom, she got upset, said she felt humiliated and that HR had no business telling her how to contact her own daughter. She is now referring to this as the incident and has mentioned it 3 times in the past 2 weeks. I am 26 years old. I have a job. I have a work email. I have a cell phone. I am reachable by approximately 7 methods at any given moment. None of this matters apparently. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's stories. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more Reddit content like this. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.